Here we have some of the new collage packs of mixed papers that Artpack have put together for your enjoyment. Each pack contains a selection of hand-painted papers, printed papers, and some commercial paper offcuts as well. They're of different weights and colours, and each pack has sort of been coordinated so you get a variety within a colour range. Plus, included in the pack are some backing papers, which gives you the opportunity to have solid background colours as well. To get started, choose 3 or 4 papers from your pack that interest you and work at a size that you feel comfortable with. Here, I'm working quite small, as I intend to use the finished pieces as the fronts of cards. I always work on more than one piece at a time, sometimes in pairs and sometimes even 4 or 5 at a time. This takes away the preciousness of a piece and encourages me to take risks. Try not to overthink the initial stages. Cutting and tearing the paper will give you different edges. Repeat shapes, altering a little each time. Aim for a range of different patterns and textures to add interest to the finished piece, remembering this is nowhere near finished yet, but just keep applying, moving, shifting, making decisions as you go, and try, as I said before, not to overthink it too much. Test it out, cut and paste, and enjoy this phase. At this stage, a viewfinder can be a very useful tool, as it masks out what's going on outside your image, and it helps you to make some compositional decisions. Refer back to your viewfinder as you work. I often use collage as a starting point, and after applying several pieces of paper and getting some different shapes together, I decided I wanted to use some ink to help combine the image a little bit more. Ink has a transparent quality, so it allows what's underneath to show through. So you can see I'm mixing here and using a soft brush and just randomly applying some colour to fill some of those white spaces. Once again, don't overthink it at this stage. A palette can allow you to mix very small quantities, and sometimes I use a larger dish. So start light, deepen the colour, and think about the way you actually put the added medium on too. You can see here I'm actually dabbing and then rolling the brush across it, not covering all areas, but letting the ink run. Here I'm using the viewfinder again, just to isolate that composition, which helps me to make further decisions about it. I've also got other pieces that I've been working on here that I'm showing you that came from the same pack of collage papers, but they have quite a different look, each one of them. I haven't combined all of the papers every time. I've been selective in what I've done. This one here is quite different to the others, and it's inspired by that piece of silver ribbon-like paper that was included in the pack. Here I've chosen to use some acrylic paint and work with a stencil, and you can see where I've tested it on a piece of paper on the side, and just mixed a little bit of white with some black acrylic paint, and using a sponge applicator I'm just dabbing it across the bottom of that image, and then repeating it on the second image in a slightly different location. This is why it's so good to be working on more than one piece at a time. because it gives you that chance to experiment. And if you don't get it right the first time, or you don't like it exactly, you can try it again on the second piece. But you end up with two pieces that are quite different, but related in some way. It's how artists often work on a series. Here you can see I'm using the acrylic paint again, some that I'd mixed up for using with the stencil. I've got another couple of pieces here using the same collage papers, and I'm just dabbing the paint on very randomly, adding water to thin the paint a little bit as I go. These two pieces are creating a sort of a landscape feel. For this pair, I've changed to a larger, flatter brush, but I'm going to continue to use the same palette of colours that I've mixed before. This wider brush, and with less water on the brush, will give me more opaque sections of colour. And you can see that I'm applying the paint slightly differently and a lot thicker. Once again, I'm continuing to work fairly randomly, intuitively, just across the pieces, trying to get them to look like they belong together, but being selective in the way I apply the paint, deepening the colour here, and you can even rub some off if you don't like it. Don't forget to use a viewfinder, as this will help you to isolate your work and see it for what it is. These two pieces here are quite different to the others that I've been working on. They force me to move out of my comfort zone and try some different things. And that's why it's always good to work on more than one piece at a time. Here are some of the finished pieces. They've been trimmed and mounted on simple coloured mounts. You can see the different range of colours and textures that you can achieve by using collage. Just adds another dimension to your work. I hope you've enjoyed looking at how I work with collage, and I wish you all the best in your work practices as well. Enjoy.